Sir, we have been hearing about inflation. It is because of the steep rise in the prices of food articles. I have mentioned when I initiated the debate about the percentage of increase of price these days when this government has come to power. This has never happened before. I have seen in the Finance Express that in the case of potatoes, the increase of prices over the last year is 96%, which is almost 100%. In the capital city, you cannot get them less than rupees 30. In the case of edible oil, it is not less than rupees 80. As regards the pulses, which are called the poor man's proud proteins, it is more than rupees 150. It is because of the delayed monsoon, delayed cultivation, and less production. There will be further reduction in production, and the crisis will be accentuated next year. This year it is at this level, but the next year it will reach another record high. Another reason for abrupt and steep rise in food articles is the reduction in the supply of vegetables, cereals and pulses. It is because the cultivated area of pulses has been reduced by half and production is stagnated. It is 13.5 million tons for the last 10 years. There has not been any increase in the production of pulses. Population is increasing, supply is decreasing, and prices are increasing. The steep rise in prices is also because of large scale encouragement being given to speculative trading in commodity exchanges through future trading in essential commodities. This issue was discussed in the House in the 14th Lok Sabha also a number of times. Today, Honorable Member was raising the issue regarding how the ministries are ignoring the recommendations of the Standing Committee. Here we find a glaring example of this. The Standing Committee is a mini parliament. The Standing Committee on Food and Civil Supplies unanimously recommended withdrawal of future trading in commodities. Honorable Member, when he was the Finance Minister, withdrew future trading or forward trading in the case of some 5 or 6 commodities, but subsequently that order of withdrawal was also withdrawn. You will be surprised to know how the net value in the case of commodity exchanges has increased suddenly. In the period from 1st June to 15th June this year, the net value of the commodity exchange was more than rupees 15 crore. During the same period in 2007, the figure was about rupees 2.25 crore. There is 7 times increase within 2 years. Is not the government aware of it? This is the report of the Forward Market Commission of India. According to the report of the Forward Market Commission of India, the net value of commodity exchange has increased by 7 times. The government is aware of it, but the government is ineffective. The government has not taken any action or any measure to contain or control the price rise. This government has no concern for the common people of our country. See how the government has remained indifferent. You cannot find a single word in the budget speech of the Finance Minister on the reply of the Finance Minister on the reply of the Minister of Food and Civil Supplies on the debate on the demands for grants of his ministry regarding price rise. We have raised many questions in regard to price rise, but he has not said anything. There was not even one sentence about it. What is the contingency plan of this government to contain and control the price rise? He has not mentioned it. Even the Finance Minister did not say anything while replying to the debate on the Finance Bill 2009. They have no concern for the plight of the common people. People are dying. Every fourth Indian is hungry today. Starvation deaths are occurring in a number of states. What are they saying? They are passing the buck to the state government as if the federal government or the union government or the central government has no responsibility in regard to increase in the price of essential commodities. It has happened with regard to not 1 or 2 essential commodities, but it has happened with almost all the essential commodities. But they will say that they have increased the food subsidy. They have indeed been increased. It was because of the increase in the minimum support price. We are for increasing the MSP, rather we are in favor of remunerative price to the agriculture, to the cultivators and to the farmers. The MSP is much less than the remunerative price. The government never considered remunerative prices. But for increasing the MSP, they have to increase the food subsidy and deprive the large section of poor people. What they have done, I'm not talking of this government, it was started by the previous government. Why the poor are divided here with targeted public distribution system. They have divided the poor of our country. All sections of this house are complaining about BPL lists as to how BPL lists have been manipulated. Now the government will say that they are following the guidelines of the Planning Commission. If they are to follow only the guidelines of the Planning Commission, why a committee was appointed by the government to determine the national grain policy? What was the recommendation of the committee? As you know, the chairman of the committee was the member of the Planning Commission and he is a member of the current Planning Commission also. I would like to quote what the committee has said. The committee endorses an immediate shift to a unified PDS as recommended for the long run. Although this would be another change in a system that has been frequent changes over the last few years. We believe these are significant benefits. He has also recommended for the universalization of the public distribution system. Another high-powered committee headed by an eminent agricultural scientist to recommend on the problems of the agriculture was formed. He also recommended for universal public distribution system. I would request the government to control this price rise. Sir, with these words, I conclude. Madam, with the adoption of the recommendations of the 6th Central Pay Commission by the Government of India, effective from 1st January 2006, the salaries of the secretaries to the Government of India and that of the Cabinet Secretary have been raised to Rs 80,000 and Rs 90,000 respectively. The salary, allowances and pension of members of parliament had been revised by the Salary, Allowances and Pension of Members of Parliament Amendment Act 2006 with effect from 15th September 2006 and the amendment of the rules with effect from 12th December 2006. Keeping this in view and to maintain parity between the salary of the President, the Chairman of Council of States and the governors of the states, it is proposed to consider and pass the salaries and allowances of officers of Parliament Amendment Bill 2008, further to amend the salaries and allowances of officers of Parliament Act 1953 as passed by Lok Sabha to provide that the Chairman of the Council of States shall be entitled to an enhanced salary of Rs 1,25,000 per month. The above provision would involve a recurring expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India to the tune of Rs 10,22,000 per annum. Madam, the bill is very simple and non-controversial in nature, based on the recommendations of the 6th Pay Commission that have enhanced the salaries of the government officers and keeping in view the salary of the President of India, which has been enhanced. This bill has been brought in this house. The Lok Sabha has already passed this bill. Therefore, I commend this bill for consideration by the House. Whether it has to be passed without discussion or with discussion, it has to be decided by the House. Madam, I stand here to speak on the salaries and allowances of officers of Parliament Amendment Bill 2008. I don't have any objection in passing this bill. I have only a small objection or a small grievance on behalf of the most of the members of Parliament. In the statement of objects and reasons, they have mentioned at present, the chairman of the Council of States is paid a salary of Rs 40,000 per month. In view of the enhancement in the salary and allowances of members of Parliament and of officers of the Government of India, based on the recommendations of the 6th Pay Commission and also the amendments being proposed for raising the salary of the President of India and the Governors States with effect from the first day of January 2006. My only objection is against this sentence in view of the enhancement of the salary and allowances of members of Parliament. While discussing this matter, I would like to draw the attention of the House and through this House of the country that there is a wrong impression about the members of Parliament that they get high perks and hefty salaries. It is not correct. He is talking about this amendment. Actually, the members of parliament get a salary of rupees 16,000 per month. This salary was enhanced prior to the report of the Sixth Pay Commission. As honorable member has mentioned about the enhancement of salary of members of parliament in the statements of objects and reasons, that is why I am raising this issue. Otherwise, I was not interested in raising this issue. Whenever I meet any member of parliament in the central hall or in any meeting or somewhere else, they mention that even the salary of a member of this legislature assembly is double or triple than the members of parliament. In some states, they get rupees 25,000 or rupees 30,000 per month and other facilities also which we do not get. But in the media, in the electronic media or in the print media, now and then there is a talk that the members of parliament are getting hefty salaries and they are not properly utilizing the money, which is not correct at all. While moving this bill, the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs should have said that the salary of a member of parliament is rupees 16,000 per month. Now I come to the second point. We get rupees 14,000 for secretarial assistants, and even towards that amount there is a stipulation that one of the staff should be a computer literate. Would any computer literate staff be prepared to work for such a low salary? And this amount is to be divided for staff employed at our constituency. And here, when I was discussing this privately with the parliamentary affairs, to this point you are thinking about raising the salary of presiding officers of parliament, when you are raising the salary of president, vice president and governors. The term of their office is 5 years while ours is 6 years. They are elected by a representative body and we are also elected by a representative body. You should consider about members of parliament as well. Again, talking about secretarial assistants that we are entitled to as a chief whip of the political party or as leader of the political party, we get a private secretary and his old basic pay is between rupees 8,000 to rupees 13,500. Now today, a lower division clerk draws more than that. In fact, with the implementation of the Sixth Pay Commission report, he will not only draw more than that but also with retrospective effect. Now they are not interested to discuss about members of parliament. If anybody can convince me that the salary of rupees 16,000 to a member of parliament is a good amount, then I will agree. Apart from being a member of parliament, if he or she engages in any business or provides consultancy services, there is the ethics committee. There are guidelines drawn out to the effect that we have to declare in writing that there will not be conflict of interest and all that. Member of parliament are basically 100% 24 hours and all-time members of parliament. When such is the case with members of parliament, you should take care of them too. I think it is the need of the hour to increase the pay and allowances of the members of parliament also. Sir, I would like to support this bill which has been introduced by the honorable member to increase the salary of honorable chairman.